Hi, I'm Christina Salerno, the creator and curator of Living Quirky, and I am here with Sasha Cagen. She is a writer and dating and relationship coach and creator of the Quirky Tango Adventure.
Woo!
Hello,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Christina.
Thank you for being here. So, I'd love to hear a little bit more about um, this idea of going from Quirkyalone into Quirky together and how that plays into your dating and relationship coaching, and what do you really like help people with?
Mm. So it starts in a way with my own journey that, I wrote this book, Quirky Alone, and I became so heavily identified with being single in my mid 20s, the concept in my mid 20s, and the book came out when I was 30. So I found that for myself, I had always been really a romantic, and I always really wanted a partner. And at the same time, I was quite ambitious and focused on my work and my friends, and I had a very adventurous life. And I really had to admit to myself when I got to about 35 or 36 that there was really something more going on than just not having met the right person. Because although I believe that luck and circumstance plays a big role in connecting and having the right relationship, I could sense that there was something else going on within me. And that was basically that I felt like I had a lot of limiting beliefs about relationships, and I felt like I couldn't really be free in a relationship. So I went through a pretty serious period of self-examination and getting clear about what stories and messages I had in my own head, and basically unraveling those so that I could have more freedom and really believe that I could really show up and be myself. And basically I had to learn how to be vulnerable and like really share myself, which has been a journey that, even though I write really personally, it hasn't necessarily been easy for me to share myself vulnerably with another person. And that's like the Quirky together is like, yeah, it's two Quirkyalones coming together, or Quirkyalone coming together with another person. But more than that, it's like, how do I really be quirky with another person and share who I really am and know that that's going to be okay, even if, well, maybe they're not going to like all my quirks, but I'm going to just show up as who I am. Because what I found was really the shame that was disconnecting me from people. Like I actually had some shame about the fact that I hadn't had the long-term relationship I felt like I was supposed to have had.
Mm.
So I've worked through a lot of that myself, and I've learned so many practices and ways of working with those things to develop more freedom, to create more ability to connect and be vulnerable and communicate. Learn things that I never really even knew how to do, like how to communicate my needs and know that I would be able to share them and not get lost, because I felt like I would have to accommodate the other person. So basically now in my coaching, I'm helping people with the same kind of stuff. And my clients are people who often have been single for a long time and they want to date or have a relationship, but they have walls up and they feel like they haven't had enough experience, or there's stories that are really controlling them. And having another person to witness your story and be able to pick it apart a little bit and make suggestions about a different way of viewing things is really powerful. And it just creates an opening door to like, oh yeah, it could be different than what I thought, or actually, I don't have to lose myself in a relationship. I don't have to stop being creative when I'm in a relationship, or any number of things that people tell themselves. And then sometimes too, I work with people who are coming out of long relationships and just don't even have a terrain about being single. And I help them to kind of learn how to be okay on their own, how to discover what it is that they really want to do, and know that that's possible and live it.
Right. It's one thing to, like figure out on your own how to be who you are, and then when you add in another person, it's like it's just exponentially more difficult, and you're trying to be aware of that person and be aware of yourself at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're actually skills that you learn, like that's
Yeah.
what I've learned is like you actually get those skills up to par. And what I've really learned is that you don't have to be in a relationship to learn those skills. You can do it with your friends too, or your family. Like it's about how you show up in every relationship. And also, and
Yeah.
most important, the relationship with yourself. So I see a lot of people who feel like, oh, I haven't had that relationship experience, so I'm screwed now, or something like that. And it's just not true. Like, it's all about the desire and building those skills that you could do it with your sister, with your mother, most of all with yourself. And that's part of the confidence of knowing, like, oh, I can hold my own. I can be attentive and care and love another person and also care for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So if you could give one quick, like, what would my experience of working with you as a coach be like? What is like one taste or one tip of like that you would give to one of your clients?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, like, a lot of it is me listening to you and listening on a deep level for the blind spots that you don't really have. And it really all comes down to how you relate to yourself in a way, because that relationship that you have, every relationship you have with another person is a mirror for how you think that they're perceiving you. So if you have, and we all have a relationship with ourselves that can be improved in this culture, like, we can all become more loving and gentle with ourselves. That's just the bottom line. And it's the sort of, the more self-acceptance you can cultivate for yourself and love for yourself, the more it's really true. It's a cliche, and it's actually true that then if you're okay with your own imperfections, you will be more okay with another's imperfections and have more capacity to fall in love with them, because we're all perfect and imperfect, And in this kind of online dating world that is all kind of consumer oriented, you can fall into this thing of like, it's a classic Quirkyalone problem of like, nobody is good enough, or everybody, I can't deal with this person, that person. But like, it really is about cultivating the acceptance of all yourself and all your quirks and foibles. And the more you do that, the more you can show up for another person and fall in love with them.
Yes. Yes. Embracing all of who you are.
Yeah, totally. The quirky connection comes back.
Yes.